question came in from our boy Jose. Could someone suggest what I could do to dig myself out of a victim mindset? My story is that I had sufficient opportunities growing up, but never had the proper guidance. Now I'm resentful with a family, blaming who knows what for my bad decisions. All right, let's dig in here. So first off, responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life. Because it's your life. There's nobody else's job to have any effect in your life, right? You get to create the life that you're living, that you're choosing to live. So, I mean, don't feel alone. This is something that we all go through, no matter what your circumstances are. You know, it's been interesting to me as I grow older to see that people who had it really good growing up, they have shit too. People who had it real struggle growing up, they sometimes can be better off. It's all a matter of perspective. I appreciate you asking this question, man, because it's a reminder to myself, and I imagine anyone watching this video, that every single day, like, you have to take control and you have to take the responsibility. And it's an interesting relationship with responsibility, because from the sounds of it, it seems like, I already feel like I have so much shit. Now you want me to take on more. But really, when you take responsibility for everything that's going on in your life, it actually lightens it a bit, because then you see that everything around you is your doing. Right? Those stiff shoulders that you have, those tight hips that you have, that's an accumulation of things that you did in your life to get you there. And that's why I really like this conversation, because we can bring it back to the body, but then we can also bring it back to everything in your lifestyle. You know, the position that you're in your life right now. It's the choices that you have made. And every day you have to renew your agreement to take control. Honestly, I thought this would be a good video for me to jam on today, a good topic, because I woke up way earlier than I wanted to. My mind was racing a bit, couldn't fall back to sleep. So then I started the day off with less sleep than I wanted to. Being someone who really values sleep, I'm already thinking, man, this is gonna be a struggle of a day because I didn't get my proper 8 hours of deep sleep. I go for a walk with my dog. She's not cooperating very well. And, you know, things start compounding on themselves, and it's easy to start leading yourself into the victim mindset, like you mentioned. Why are these things happening to me, right? Whenever you start asking, why are these things happening? That's usually a sign that you're making stories about your life that are causing you to suffer. So one thing that I really have found beneficial for me to do when I start to feel these types of ways, like this morning, is I sit down with my journal and I write it all out. I write all the shit out that I'm feeling inside, that the bad stuff, the struggles, like, damn, this isn't working. I feel bad about this. What about, this thing? And I can see on paper where my mind is going, right? And usually my mind is going into these negative patterns and making up stories about why I'm not happy. But it's because these stories, right? So you cling to those stories and you say, well, I can't be happy because I had X, Y, and Z happen in my past, or whatever it is, right? And you look at all those things and you let them sit into you, right? So take a few minutes to breathe. And really be with it. And what you'll find is when you really just relax into it and you be with it, the edge goes away. You may start to see that you are giving these things too much power over you. And then you flip it and you say, okay, this is the thing that's bugging me. I don't want this in my life. Well, what do I want in my life? And let's send the mind to focus on the things that I do want to bring in, the things that I do have control over, and write those down. Turn them into mantras, right? If you're feeling sad, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel content? Do you want to feel fulfillment? Write that shit down, right? I am happy. I am content. I am fulfilled. Because, throw a because in there. Why are you fulfilled, right? And we can start to shift the perspective. What I find over and over again is a lot of life is just the perspective that you're taking. And when you're dwelling on things, if you're really sticking to those stories, that are the reason why you can't be happy, then you're gonna be constantly suffering. But you have the power to reshape how your mind looks at these things, right? And you can start to change the way that you feel, change the way that you think, and then change the way that you exist, right? So this is not to say that if you just think positively, no bad things are going to happen, because we all know that that's false. And we all know that there's people out there that are really struggling and going through really, really hard things. And I have a lot of compassion for that, and I'm sure that you do too. But no matter what it is in your life that you're going through in a hardship, whether it's really, really hard, it's survivalist mode, or it's just something like you're in a fight with your friend, something that's, really not threatening your existence too much, it all feels the same. It feels like a threat to your system. But no matter what the thing is, you hold the power of how you react to that thing. Right? You always control the internal. The external, what's happening in the world, not controlled by you. Some people may think that that you can slightly control that, and maybe you can. But for the most part, bad shit's gonna happen. But you always hold the power how you respond to that stuff. Got a bigger cup today for my tea. So step one is always take responsibility. Taking responsibility will get you out of that victim mindset. And I know it's easier said than done. It's a practice. You have to practice this in all facets of life, in your relationships, in your work, in your health, your body, how you're treating your body, right? Take responsibility for it all. You'll stop feeling like a victim, right? It was nobody's job to guide you, right? A lot of the time, I've been in the same situation too, where I think, well, I needed more mentorship. I didn't have anybody that taught me how to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why I'm in this position. You're not anybody else's responsibility, right? If you want mentorship, seek it out. If you want guidance, seek it out. Read books, right? Find people on the internet, and then dive in deeper, right? Go do workshops, go do courses. The mentorship is out there. It's your responsibility to find it and to then integrate it into your life. Now, another really beneficial thing to do is to examine where you're giving away control in your life. Because we're all doing this in some way. We all have these vices that we give into that are really like us seeking this instant pleasure that we're giving away control. Right? So maybe it's like overeating, maybe it's just like jamming too hard on the sweets. Maybe it's like just consuming too much content, too much TV, consuming like just shit that doesn't help you, like porn or whatever it is, right? Where are these things coming up that you're giving into? And then how can you replace those, right? I'm a big fan of replacing habits rather than just trying to quit something altogether. If you're used to consuming 3 hours of YouTube and TV and all this stuff every night, if you just expect yourself to just say, I'm gonna stop that, but then you have nothing to put in its place, it's gonna be really hard. So how can we replace that? Maybe you could take up some stretching in the evening. Maybe you can take up some long walks, right? Maybe you can read a book more. Doing these things very gradually, taking back control of your existence, small bits at a time, is where the juice lies. This is where you gain a lot of power, a lot of confidence. Yeah, man. And once again, thanks for asking this question, because I'm just as much talking to you as I'm talking to me right now, because I go through it all the time. We all do. We all slip into these behaviors where we're giving into base desires because we don't feel whole. And it's really, really important that when these things come up that trigger you to want to do these vices and to give away your control, to really sit with it, right? And to understand how you're feeling, and maybe even get to why you're feeling that way, right? That can be a little bit longer down in the process, but to not skip over it, right? When we block it away, that's what we're doing essentially with these vices, is you just don't quite feel right. Something's making you feel inadequate, like you're not enough. And we block that away. I block it away by doing something that gives away my control. So it's really important to really sit and feel, breathe into it. Oh man, I'm feeling this way right now. Not gonna block it away, I'm just gonna sit with it. And as you sit with it, like I said earlier in the video, the edge goes away. You realize this is a story that I'm telling myself right now, that I'm not enough. And I am enough, right? Or I am adequate. I am doing what I need to be doing. Did a great video with my friend Chris Marhefka, where he talks about this a bit in the video. We'll link it on the screen right now, but it's kind of rewiring the subconscious. So to bring it back to the strength side vibe, this is why we truly believe so much in having a daily practice, right? That's why we have our free program, the Daily Practice, is because doing something each day, a small thing, will help you start taking responsibility and start taking control. If you have one thing in your life that you're like, I'm never gonna skip this. I'm gonna do this every single day, no matter what comes up, no matter how I'm feeling. I'm gonna do this thing. You will gain so much confidence from that, and you will start to do other things that are more holistic, that are more healthy for your lifestyle. So always stick to your practices. Always take pride in your practices. I was just reading some Osho this morning, and he was talking about how if you keep seeking to find the meaning of life, you're always gonna be left unfulfilled, because we don't know it. We don't know why we're here, right? So if we're laying there just like, what is the meaning? What is the meaning? I fall into these patterns. What is the meaning behind this? Why am I doing this? It causes a lot of suffering, because you'll never get to the end of that answer. If instead you flip it on its head and you say, you know what, I don't know the meaning, but this has value to me right now. I'm gonna give this meaning right now. And I'm gonna truly enjoy this experience. And I'm going to not worry about what was done in the past. I'm not gonna let myself go into anticipating the future too much. I'm just gonna really be with this moment right now, this activity, right? This is why I love the physical practice, because you can just really go into that, learn about the thing, help you learn about yourself, help you improve, grow, transform, keep stepping forward. All right, take responsibility, done.